intersex. Even if you've heard the word, you may not know what it is. And that's not surprising, because intersex doesn't mean just one thing. It refers to a variety of different conditions in which a child is born with anatomy that doesn't completely conform to what's traditionally understood to be male or female. By one estimate, 1 in 1,500 babies is born intersex, which would make it about as common as being born with red hair.
If that number is true, then we certainly all know somebody who is intersex, even if we don't know it.
And while intersex isn't exactly a household word, last summer it got global attention at the Rio Olympics. Caster Semenya, the lightning-fast runner from South Africa. She took gold in the 800 meter, but she almost didn't make it to the starting blocks. She was nearly banned from competing at all after allegations that she is intersex, reportedly born with a condition that causes her body to produce extremely high levels of testosterone, something critics and the women who have to compete against her say is an unfair advantage.
High testosterone is the most important factor that separates male and female athletes. If you allow intersex women to compete against other women with their naturally produced high testosterone, it creates a very unlevel playing field.
Not everyone agrees that testosterone gives elite athletes the gold medal edge. Some sports scientists argue it's no more of an unfair advantage than good nutrition or good genes.
So the task that policymakers have been given is to basically prove that testosterone is jet fuel that's propelling them and giving them male typical advantage. And so it's not borne out by their times, but it's also not borne out by the science.
But in 2011, the governing body in track and field instituted a controversial new rule, banning any female runner with testosterone levels higher than 10 nanomoles per liter, considered by experts to be in the male range.
It's not saying you're a man or a woman. It's saying you can compete. It's a matter of eligibility to participate in certain competitions.
So it places a ceiling or a threshold limit on women's natural testosterone. And if you exceed that, even though you've always competed in the women's category, you're no longer eligible.
The ruling meant Caster Semenya was sidelined unless she was willing to artificially lower her testosterone levels with drugs, which she presumably did, and her performance suffered. But the pressure on her, demanding public answers to intimate questions, never let up.
Yeah, they can make their own decisions, but don't forget, what I can do, I can just help other athletes like me, you know.
And some asked, was Semenya singled out, not just because of her speed on the track?
I think what happened was really based on her appearance that crosses some sort of invisible threshold of femininity. She didn't fit what people would expect from a female athlete.
Caster seemed destined to miss the Rio Games. But in 2015, the ban was lifted when a runner from India, Duti Chand, also barred because of high testosterone levels, sued the International Track and Field Governing Authority and won after sports officials failed to produce scientific data to back up their theory that testosterone gives female athletes an insurmountable advantage.
The scientific evidence wasn't there, which is underlying the rationale for the entire policy. Higher testosterone gives you male typical advantage, and that wasn't borne out.
With the ban lifted, Semenya went on to win gold in Rio. But in at least one way, Semenya's victory was bittersweet, exposing the raw emotions and deep sense of injustice some of her fellow runners felt.
There's a really sad, I think, and heartbreaking photograph that sticks with me. So after Caster Semenya had won her race, she went over to greet competitors who had not medaled, reaching out to try to greet them, and they remain in the embrace. What it points to really is a very sad, heartbreaking ending about who's really harmed by these policies.
And Semenya may have another hurdle to clear before she crosses the finish line. The Track and Field Governing Authority has until July of 2017 to provide scientific evidence about the role of testosterone in athletes. If they meet the deadline, the ban could be reinstated, and Caster Semenya could be stripped of her medals and sidelined forever.